number of years.
7 years with Mike.
Bench coach, no,
pitching coach.
Pitching coach.
Yes.
But then you bench coach?
No.
You went pitching coach to the monitor.
Yeah, the management.
You go to monitor.
So
right,
7 years with Mike. Great experience, and then
was that
6
the plan?
years here.
Was that your plan all along?
No,
just
my last year plan was 95, and I knew I was going to stay in the game in some capacity. I didn't know which, and the Indians gave me an opportunity to figure that out. You know, I went back home to San Diego, and I was able to.
You weren't recommended by the guys on ESPN. That's how we think people get jobs. The guys on ESPN come and say, "Boy, he'd make a great manager," and next thing you know, 2 years later, the guy's a manager, or a coach, or something. But it wasn't in the cards.
It wasn't.
First.
No, at the start, I thought I was going to maybe sort of, transition into maybe a front office position.
No.
But once I did a little bit of that in Cleveland, I did some roving instructing, I did some scouting. I learned, there was a 5-year period there when I was with the Indians, learned under John Hart and Dan O'Dowd and Mark Shapiro, the front office side, and eventually I told them, hey, I want to get back on the field. And it sort of coincided with what was happening in Anaheim. They were making some major changes there. Front office, GM, manager got let go. Mike got hired, I interviewed, got the job. I think you backtrack a couple years, and 2010 we had a real nice year. Sort of came out of nowhere, competed. To the last day, and the Giants took us down on game 162.
I was watching that.
And they went on to win the World Series, obviously, in 2010, which, us being ex-Giants was, not that, wish it would have been us, but, in a way I was, very happy for the city of San Francisco and the Giant organization. I still knew a lot of people there. Last year we thought, we're going to be able to do the same thing. We changed some personnel. We thought it would be, a good situation again for us going last year. It didn't happen. So this year, out of necessity, we made some more changes. So we got some new faces. Some guys are coming off good years who were here last year. But we think that, especially in this division, anything can happen.
What about the ownership change? Is that what do you think about what's going on with that?
We had it came down on Thursday that Jeff Morad was stepping down, and we had a meeting we had a meeting Friday morning with the players, and I think you can appreciate this. Especially I think our group, and I think players in general, across baseball, their focus is on playing. There's a distinct separation between ownership and what we do down in the clubhouse and what we do on the field. So even though it's out there publicly, I think the players' perception is that, it doesn't really affect us on what we do on the field. And that's, my main message to the guys was, our job as coaches and players is to play on the field and to coach. So
back in the old days, we never saw ownership for the most part.
And I think, in this day and age where, so much is now much more public and out there, whether it's ownership, front office, executives, GMs, players, media. There's so much of that going on that there's a lot of crossover. But you're right. Back when we played, very rarely did you see the owner. Very rarely did you see this GM.
Didn't see the GM much. Huh? So how many?
If I see something and I feel strongly about it, I will go to our pitching coach, Darren Balsley, and we'll talk about it. And I always do it, away from the player. I will never if there's a teaching.
You're not out there in the bullpen.
If there's a teaching,
there with your hands on your hips
and going, Darren, hey, you should do this with this guy. So, no, it's always something that we talk about. And then it's great. We have great discussions. And also our bullpen coach, Darryl Ackerfeld, is the next pitcher as well. Yeah. So the three of us, we talk about our players all the time.